songs. How like being poets at an arcade, soaking moonlit falls on broken past this inundated orb that we call home. And it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Fulky here. I just want to give a shout out to Boogie Bentley, Dauber, and the Indie Kid over at the Talkin VAWLS network on YouTube. Keep doing your thing, guys. Go Vols.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS channel. This is the Tennessee Villanova post-game show. Not pretty today, but we're going to discuss it as we start a long evening of Talkin VAWLS. We'll start out with basketball. We've got tailgating show at 6:30. Going to try to break the jinx of the tailgate. And then we'll be post-game after South Alabama, hopefully being bowl eligible tonight. But my name's the Indie Kid.
I'm Dauber.
71-53, Villanova beats Tennessee. A game that was never close. Come out of the gate, Tennessee didn't score for the first about 6 minutes. Just, it was embarrassing. That was an embarrassing performance today. We can get into that. That was ugly. It was embarrassing. Dauber, what's your thoughts?
First thoughts, came out sluggish and slow. Lots of lazy telegraph passes. And this is one of the first times in a long time that I've seen lack of effort on the defensive end with a Rick Barnes coach team. And honestly, they just got out physicaled. They weren't moving their feet to get in position on defense. That's why they got a lot of fouls called on them, especially early in the game. They were letting them play physical, but the fouls were due to being lazy and not being in position to be physical. Good. Hats off to Villanova. They're a good team. They started off slow, but they ended up doing what a good team does and turning it around. Listen, this tournament up there, this set of games, it's four good teams, and Tennessee had an opportunity to go on a national stage and play well, and they came out and they looked like a young and inexperienced team.
That's why you play these games. You can go through your UT Martins, your ETSUs, and look good, but that's why you play these games earlier on to see where you're at. Villanova's an experienced team. They're meshed together. Jay Wright has them. He knows what he has. They've already had a test with UCLA earlier in the season. But, one thing to kind of say on Tennessee, I mean, this is a new team. They're still figuring it out. But I thought some of the rotations were odd today. And God bless the guy, but there was no reason for Euros to be in this game today playing. When he's in, you're playing 4-on-5. And I hate to say this too. You're almost at that point with Fulkerson too. He's a shell of himself right now.
It was there was a lot of guys that frankly underperformed from where they need to play for this team to be successful. I don't have the stat line for what did Chandler end up with. He was scoreless in the first half.
He ended up with 6 points. He had a rough day. Yeah. 1 out of 9. 1 out of 9 shooting. He missed some easy shots, too. He had 6 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 out of 9, 0 for 2 from three-point range.
Well, I was going to say, we said this a couple weeks ago when we were on last talking about basketball. If this team is hitting shots, it's going to be good. If they're struggling, it could be a long game. And this afternoon showed exactly that. I mean, you come out and you shoot 5 of 28, 17.9% from 3-point range. Man, that's, and you don't really have that dominant force underneath to work that kind of game. There's a lot to be worked on for this team prior to conference play. And there's still a lot of tough games left before they even get to conference play.
Did it seem to you like when it started getting tough earlier on, Barnes reverted back to old lineups? You see immediately Vescovi back to point guard.
Yeah.
You see Bailey in. He was hesitant to bring Powell in. Of course, Powell didn't shoot well today, but I felt that the first thing he did was revert back to old lineups, and that kind of bothered me a little bit. Of course, Chandler got in foul trouble. I thought Tim Bradley first comment about officiating. The officiating did not by any means beat Tennessee. It sucked today, though. Guys were breathing on each other and getting called for fouls. There were some charges that were extremely questionable, but and I noticed late in the game too, Vescovi's run the point and Chandler's on the wing. I don't know if that was by design or if that's how they went with it, but the first thing Barnes went was revert back to old lineups that haven't worked before. Didn't like that.
I mean, here's the thing. I think this team has the potential to play with a team like Villanova, but the effort this afternoon wasn't there. The shots weren't dropping. They're a lot better team than what they played. They're a lot better team than what the score showed out. Villanova is an older team, experienced, couple super seniors. Of course, Tennessee's got Fulkerson. Tennessee's got Josiah James. Those are guys that have played a whole lot, but you're not getting anywhere close to their peak game. They were off, and it wasn't really one person in particular. I think the team as a whole struggled. Villanova fought for every loose ball. They were down on the floor, mixing it up, and Tennessee just failed to do that. It was real puzzling, the lack of effort that I saw.
Yeah, there's a few comments I wanted to hit on here. I thought one of them was interesting. Let me find Tim's comment here. Where's it at here? I lost it. Oh, yeah. If today's any indication, yep, I would agree with this. If today is any indication, because it seemed that it was shooting. I mean, I just felt there was a lack of creativity with the game. And here's this one. This absolutely pissed me off right here. Bailey had the backcourt. It was back. He just gave up on it. The Villanova guy gets past him, goes down for layup. I think Barnes jerked him out at that point. I don't know if he came back. That was an absolute embarrassment. And I saw guys. I didn't like the body language I saw today from numerous guys. Chandler, one of them.
Vescovi.
Vescovi. I'll give Vescovi credit. He was busting his hind end today. He's flawed, but I mean, he did too. Yeah, he had some moments.
I don't like, you make a bad pass and you throw your hands up and tell the guy you need to be cutting. I mean, that's one of those where you my bad, and you in the next break you talk it over and you work it out. You don't put that kind of body language out on the floor. Man, just
that was a bad pass too.
Yeah,
I mean there wasn't nobody catching. Maybe James or somebody, but yeah, that's what I was like, dude, you threw it over his head. What's he supposed to do?
Not a lot of poise. Man, I expected more out of this team. I'll just leave it at that. Very disappointed in the effort. Apart from a few guys that ended up with an okay stat line, man, it was very lacking.
That's what got me about today was the effort on it. I felt in the Oregon State game that ended the year, effort was lacking.
Yep.
And, we mentioned it with football, and I feel like we've had to be a little bit apologetic about mentioning effort. Today with the basketball, that's why we mention it. Lackadaisical effort today. Minimal effort out of these guys. They got punched in the mouth, and they quit. That's basically what I feel happened today is they got punched in the mouth. Villanova out-physicaled them. When you and I were texting, you was like, good thing Villanova's not playing good right now.
Oh,
they weren't playing good, and they were still at 11 points to begin with.
It could have easily been a 15, 20-point game out the gate before Tennessee cracked, 10 points. Villanova was they were shooting bad. But what got me was the lazy passes, the telegraph passes, and then not moving your feet on defense to get in front of somebody, just giving up the basket, like just a blow by walk, easy layup. And like you said, they got punched in the mouth a little bit. They got roughed up a little bit, and that's when you want a team to kind of bow back and take it and then start playing, but they never recovered from it.
Basically, Villanova put their foot on Tennessee's throat, and they did not let off. Yeah. I mean, like you mentioned, footwork. Villanova's footwork was miles ahead of Tennessee, and they were talking about announcers were talking about that, how they work on that. It was much better. I mean, when they would get Tennessee posted up, Tennessee's post guys could do nothing with Villanova's post guys. When they got posted up, it was over with. Yeah. And you saw Villanova's guards posting them up. Just a much better team. And Barnes has got to evolve. I said at the end of last year, I said he's got to look in the mirror. He's got to go look in it again today. He's dead set he's got to have two post guys. Villanova's out here playing four guards and wearing them out. And his adjustment is to bring Euros in. Come on, man. Especially when you had Euros and Fulkerson in, it's like you're playing 3-on-5 from an offensive standpoint. And maybe Fulkerson rebounds. I know it's early, but Rick Barnes' counter punch today was to put Euros and Fulkerson in. Come on, man. Well, come on.
And during the game while we were messaging back and forth, and you said that about the lineups, I agreed, but now I'm just kind of thinking, man, he was just throwing out there something to try to get something going because guys are struggling. And nothing really worked. So, but like you said, when you've got certain guys out there, a certain rotation, you are lacking big time offensively. And in a game where you're chasing points, you need all the offensive firepower you can get. Man, you've got the athletes to run something like Alabama did last year. Run 5 guards, run 5 guys, run it wide open, spread the floor out, either get guys, cutting to the basket, working one-on-one or driving and then kicking out for an open shot. But man, I don't know. Shots got to fall, and it was struggle city. I mean, you didn't even make 20 baskets tonight. Made 19 field goals.
I think this is a good point here. Undyne Voice says, guys, Villanova may go to the first week of April, but is there even a good takeaway? No. I mean, I think it's a really good point. I just feel that they got hammered today, and like you said, I think maybe Barnes is just throwing out there what he can, but I know I read earlier in the week about how he said he doesn't have a rotation yet. Yeah, well, that was obvious today. Mm-hmm. He was just throwing stuff against the wall to see what would stick on it. See, we've got a super chat here. Travis Adair. Let me see if I can highlight this here real quick. Here we go. Our Arkansas buddy. Barnes is a 2025 win coach and will keep Tennessee basketball relevant, but that is about it. I mean, I thought, based on his historically and based on, I thought he adapted in the offseason what he went out and got, but today showed me He did not adapt to that. Does he adapt as a season? You know, the good thing is it's the third game of the season, but he's got to adapt to the time. It's a shooter's game now, and you can't trot guys out there and go 3-on-5 basically with it. And again, that's why you play these games, to find out what you got.
Well, and that's going into, this game, you'd hope that the first two games you saw what you needed to, and you had confidence in 5 guys to put out on the floor to be your core, and you had other guys coming in off the bench to, give those guys a breather. Right now, I don't have confidence in 5 on the floor. I couldn't tell you who to put out there.
No, yeah, I'm with you. And I thought this, what was it, Chandler got it, should have been an and one. They called a foul on it while the guy, or called a charge while it was still moving.
Yeah.
And they just didn't react to that. I just think officials, they don't know what a charge has not changed.
No.
If you're moving under a guy when he's in the air, that's a block. That's not a charge on it. And just so, I know there was one time Vescovi he picked the point guard's pocket and then went down and almost stuffed himself on the rim. He was able to get it back and score, but, then he's guarding the guy at half court, about picked him again. The guy throws an elbow into Vescovi, and Vescovi gets the foul on that. So,
well, that's one thing that I noticed the entire game. Gillespie for Villanova, every time he drives, was lowering his shoulder and checking with a forearm. And, I'm all for letting the guys play, but when you're going to blow the whistle on ticky-tack stuff the other way, man, at least call it both ways. There was a number of plays, and I know it's easy to be a Tennessee fan and you see everything that doesn't go your way. But, man, some of those were just pretty egregious. And by no means does the officiating change the way this game went, because when you only make 19 buckets, you're going to struggle to win 99% of the games you play.
I like this. I like that they get to turn around and play a good opponent again tomorrow. They don't have to wait 3, 4, or 5 days to do it. They get right back at it tomorrow. I'm curious to see how they rebound tomorrow. Do they come out and pout and just, have a lackluster performance, or do they come out pissed off and ready to play tomorrow? Because, North Carolina –
it's going to be another good opponent.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say is North Carolina and Purdue can punch them in the mouth also. So how are they going to adapt to it? I would like to see Barnes. That's fine if you want to keep a big guy out there, but he needs to go to 4 guards, especially against these teams doing the same thing. And I don't know that again, it was not a Euros game. It's not a game to put him in. He did okay. He did fine, but still yet he's a statue out there most of the time. And, Fulkerson, he's getting pushed around. Not much going on. I don't know. I agree with this one from David Bay's. Pace needs to be faster. When they started playing faster, I felt they were getting ready to they were making a little bit of a comeback, and maybe Villanova adapted with them. But I thought Ziegler did some good things. He had some turnovers as well, but I thought he did some good things when he was in. I just didn't feel they played a quick brand of ball tonight. No. And I don't know, just felt like they were settling for shots a lot of the times. Just real lackadaisical, lackluster offense.
Well, and that's, back to the point about defense, though, which that's going into the season, and typically with the Barnes coach team, the effort on the defensive end of the floor can be what keeps you on the floor. for him. But looking at the stats, I mean, they had 4 steals, 3 blocks. It's not a really good defensive effort.
Yeah, Kamwa, no points today.
Yeah.
I mean, Vescovi, just look at this. Fulkerson, 4. He was 2 for 2. 4 points, 4 rebounds. Vescovi, 23 points. Chandler, 6. Jordan James, 2. Somebody said it earlier on him. He's fine. How he was a 5-star, I don't know. And he's an average player. He's fine. He has these moments, but 2 points, 5 rebounds, 0 for 6 3-pointers, 1 for 8 from the field. Adu he got some mop-up duty, 10, no points. Huntley Hatfield, yeah, people are talking about him one and done. He's got a ways to go. Big guy. We'll see how he comes along. Euros, 0 points, 2 rebounds. Ziegler, 7 points. Meshack, 2 points. Justin Powell, 5 points. And Victor Bailey, 2 points. That's freaking pathetic. It just is.
Well, so you only had 2 guys make 3-pointers. Vescovi and Powell. Or no, not even Powell. It was
Ziegler.
Ziegler, yeah.
Yeah.
So James was 0 for 6. Chandler was 0 for 2. And Powell was 0 for 3. And Bailey was 0 for 4. So that goes back to the point that I said, if this team's not hitting shots. Last year, it was the mid-range shots. That they threw up a mid-range jumper, 90% of the time down the floor. This year, it looks like they're going to live by the 3 and die by the 3. And today, shooting 17%, that's dying by the 3.
I noticed. I noticed this. Undyne voice said, "Doesn't look like Chandler rather get transition, take off nobody." I noticed it numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
He'd take off and he's running 2-on-5.
But
he had to pull it back out.
Looking back to see where anybody was, and that's to your point. Having 1 to 2 big guys out there, if they're not getting up and down the floor with your point guard, creating offense, that's the reason you brought Kennedy Chandler in, was to lead this team, lead the offense, create. I don't think that he's as great in the half court offense. I think it is a transition style that he plays, and that's where there's going to have to be some changes made to suit his skill set.
My point here, Wayne, was that people were saying he's probably one and done, and I know he reclassified. He looked nowhere near being a one and done today, Huntley. And he's probably going to be fine. It's third. A few of these guys today got their first taste of big-time college ball, and it showed. Chandler struggled today. They were comparing him to Chris Paul during the game. And, the experience of playing a team like Villanova is only going to benefit these teams. It's never good to lose a game. You never want to lose a game, but you want to play that competition too to see where you stack up. Hell, they could line the conference schedule with all the smaller schools from the state of Tennessee. They could roll over them. What are they getting out of it when it all boils down to it? They played a top 5 team today, a team who can make a big run in April. It's a veteran-oriented team. I feel like I've said it numerous times, but this is the teams you want to play in non-conference.
Well, you threw something up on the screen. I can't remember who said it. There's nothing to take away from. There's a lot to take away from this game. What you take away is all the mistakes and all the things that this team has to work on to get better. And like you just said, you're getting better for peaking in March and hopefully April. You want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the season. It doesn't matter you run off 15, 16, 17 wins in a row to start the year. Like you said, you put a bunch of cupcakes out and you go, 10-2 or 12-1, Whoop-de-doo. Because you get to the tournament, you lose one, you're done. So it's not about winning all the games you play. It's about improving, getting better, and going on to the next week. And, like you said, they get to play again tomorrow. They're turning around, doing it again tomorrow. And I hope that this team comes out and they show a much better effort. And we actually see some Tennessee basketball because today it was far from it.
Terry Ray, how we respond to this loss will tell us a great deal. Totally agree.
Absolutely.
And I'm still trying to find this. Mary Lynn Darrington says, what time will we play on Saturday? I've not found it. I think the championship, I guess, of this is 1 o'clock. I saw that. So I'm assuming, and maybe I'm wrong, I'm assuming maybe Tennessee will play at like 4. But I've still yet to find the time on that. And I searched trying to find it earlier. So maybe I've just looked in the wrong place. But we'll definitely pass that on because we're going to be like Chuck Hickey, 3:30. Okay. And the plan is we will be live directly after that again tomorrow. Talkin VAWLS weekend. So if you're a fan of Dauber and the Indy Kid and Boogie, you're going to see a lot of us this weekend. If you're not, hate to disappoint you, but we're going to be on the air quite a bit this weekend. We'll stop and take a nap right behind our chair, and then we'll get right back in it and be ready to go again. But 3:30, I would say the game will probably start anywhere from 3:30 to 4 tomorrow. So, again, I like the fact that, if they get blown out of the building again tomorrow, they do. We're going to see how they respond to adversity tomorrow. And it's hit early in the season. There's no shame in losing to Villanova, but some of that effort today, that's inexcusable. So there was some stuff that was really, really, I'm like you, man. You mentioned it earlier. I can't believe a Rick Barnes team would pull some of the stuff they pulled on defense like they did today.
Yeah. Yeah, but like we said, third game in, playing a top 5 team, a really good test early for this team to kind of know where they're at. And right now, they're not deserving of that number beside their name. I don't think they're a top 25 team based on the performance today. Now they come out tomorrow and rebound and play well because it's going to be another tough matchup. Then you can let a little bit slide, but it's the effort, it's or lack of effort that is really kind of disappointing. Man, it's just. It's kind of some of the same things that we've seen before. Lack of post play, and then just not hitting shots. We'll see tomorrow, though.
Yep. Will Murley, I hope the football team wins by 60 tonight. That will cheer me up a little bit. I don't care who we're playing. Amen, brother. Same here. That'll definitely not to talk football, but it is a big night, even though it's a lower opponent. But let's see. Positive note, Lady Vols soccer in the Sweet 16. Yep. Anything positive with Tennessee athletics. There's a lot good going on down here. I think the basketball team will be okay. I think, I've seen people in the chat say you've said, I think they're better than what they played today. But again, I can handle getting beat. It's just so many head scratchers today. And
it's a bit of an eye opener for this team. I hope they use it to say, okay, hey, we got work to do. We got things to figure out. And frankly, not just this team, this coaching staff, because like you said, you read this week that Barnes didn't really have a rotation. Well, yeah, it showed. It showed that there wasn't a rotation. The thing that I want to see moving forward, I want to see somebody step up and lead this team, because that's what this team has lacked since Grant Williams left. They've not had anybody step up and be the leader of this team.
Funny when you mentioned that. Yeah, Culbertson 5344. Who's going to step up and be the face of the team? Who's going to lead the way? I mean, based on what it looks to me like, Vescovi wants to step up and take it. And yeah, I mean that's fine. I felt the year after Grant and Schofield left, you had Turner, and then he went out. Of course, you had Fulkerson, who kind of put the team on his back, but nobody wanted it last year. The freshmen wanted it last year. Everybody else just sat back and watched.
Yeah.
And the only one I seen really trying to step up and do it today was Vescovi. Everybody else sat around and watched or pouted or whatever. I mean, so yeah, I don't think it can be a freshman either. I agree with this. Can't be a freshman. Yeah, the freshman. I mean, again, Chandler, some of his, he was flustered today.
Well, that's Craig J's point prior to the one that you just put up, the cold shooting spells. Yeah, that's this team last year. That they were spurts. They were hot and cold, and that's you can't do that in big games. You can do that against Chattanooga State or ETSU or whoever. You can have a 4 or 5 minute run where you're struggling. But you come out against a team like Villanova, who, like I said, starting it off, they weren't playing well to begin the game either. And then they got going, and Tennessee just never got going. And before you know it, you're down 15, 20 points, and you're – I don't think they're built to recover from it. And, I mean, it could be a different story if they're shooting the ball better and some shots are dropping, but they weren't.
No, I mean, you can't have starters. Again, your starting lineup was Conway, Fulkerson, Vescovi, Chandler, Jordan James. So, they combined for 35 points. 35 freaking points from your starters today. I mean, what do you expect is going to happen?
And 23 were Vescovi's.
Yeah. I mean, Vescovi has 23 of 35 points. Almost 2/3 of the points of Vescovi's. And, I mean, and he shot, he was chucking it up. I mean, he had 4 out of 12 from 3-point range, but Barnes' offense, that's one thing since he's been there is his offense. Now, if they're up and running and going, that's fine. Their half-court set sucks.
Yeah.
There's just nothing to it, really. It's like one guy will come to the top of the key. You've got a guy on the corner. They're either going to shoot it. They may try to drive, but there's just I feel a lack of imagination on the offense.
And the thing is, you don't have a guy that you can put in the paint to run it through there. Fulkerson, when he's at his prime, when he's at his peak, he's good, but not great in the paint. He's kind of just, a couple steps outside the paint and maybe make a move and get you to miss. But to be underneath and banging with the big guys, he's not built for it. He gets pushed around way too much. But, he's coming off of the broken thumb. Hopefully he's not where we're going to see him play. And he'll kind of get rolling and improving because he's been limited leading up to the season. Didn't start the first game or didn't play the first game. So hopefully we're going to see this team work out the kinks and play up to their potential. And if we don't, you've said it before, I think it's fair to start questioning Rick Barnes.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
I'll throw this out there. A guy that we've talked about before, a guy that was in Knoxville, just left to take a head coaching job, Kim English. Anybody see what he did the other night against Maryland?
Right?
George Mason beat Maryland. So beat a ranked Maryland. you know, I hated losing him because that was a great coach, good guy on the bench. I think a great guy recruiting wise.
Losing him was enormous.
Yeah.
I mean, congrats. At least it was, a head coaching position. But I mean, look at recruiting.
Yep.
BJ Edwards, nice pickup. Really nice pickup. Will be a good asset for Tennessee. But I mean, they whiffed basically in this window outside of Edwards. Now they had a few guys who reclassified. They may have gotten in this class. I mean, Huntley Hatfield was a top 5 player for 22. He reclassified. So, maybe you get a year and a half, a couple years out of him. We'll see how that goes. Ziegler reclassified. Tamba reclassified. I don't expect him to be much of a factor this year. That was kind of ironic here. Ticket Gaines, poor guy, got put into a bad situation in the SEC tournament last year and missed free throw.
Love seeing that, though. I mean,
that's awesome.
I pull for that guy because of the flack he got over that.
He did his job that time was a bad thing. He did his job.
He was subbed in defensively. And, you'd like to think these guys on a scholarship can all hit a shot with nobody guarding them, nobody moving them. But it's a pressure cooker situation.
It is.
So.
And that's we'll see how it goes. I'm curious to see how they bounce back. But Barnes I questioned him last year. I'm questioning him after today, not because they got beat. When you see that kind of effort, something's off. So I don't know. I don't know what he's going to say in the locker room. Maybe we forget this one and we bounce back tomorrow since it's the 3rd game of the season. But I like the moves he made. I like the class he brought in. I like getting Justin Powell. I like Fulkerson coming back. But, what are you going to do if it don't work? You're going to have team transfer out again? You're going to replace it with portal or reclassifying? You can't do that every year.
What if you are Coach Rick Barnes, what do you say to the guys in the locker room after what just happened?
I address the effort. Say, we might get beat down here, but the effort's unacceptable today. And I would say, if you want to keep your place in this rotation, you better step it up tomorrow with effort. It's one thing to miss shots. It's another thing when, like Victor Bailey, the ball slips out of your hand, you turn around and watch a guy run past you. It's another thing when you got 3 guys standing around the basket and a Villanova one guy just comes in between them and gets rebounds or gets it from up over them. I mean, there's I put everybody on. I mean, you don't need to put them on blast. It ain't going to do any good, but
I think you're right. I think you call out the effort or you call out the lack of effort. And you call out guys, not that they looked like they didn't want to be out there, and not that they looked like it was too big of a moment for them. It was the effort and intensity. It just the level that it was at was not even close to where Villanova was.
And maybe that's the difference in being a veteran team and not, but I'm with you, man. Like you said, Villanova, they weren't necessarily playing good out of the gate, but it wasn't. And again, we mentioned effort with football. And we kind of feel like we mention it too much. Well, today's a good case in point because and these are guys who've been in this program for a few years for the most part, other than a couple freshmen out here lollygagging and screwing off today, pouting because it didn't go their way.
Your starting 5 has 4 guys who have played two years plus on this team. And
I mean, Fulkerson, 5th year?
Yeah.
No, Fulkerson, 6th year.
6th year.
Vescovi, 3rd year.
James.
Tomwa, 3rd year. Josiah Jordan James, 3rd year.
Chandler's the only guy out there that's not been in the program. So you would expect that out of a young team, coming together, trying to gel. But man, yeah, that's a good point, Culberson. 53-44, tough challenge, and maybe some guys got a real ego check, a reality check, that they're not necessarily where they need to be, and or mentally in it and where they need to be.
Yeah. I don't know, Wayne. I know you're a big Adu fan. I mean, can he? I will say this: can he be any worse than Euros or even to an extent Fulkerson? I don't know. A part of me says if these veteran guys are going to get out here and not put in the effort, get their asses out and let's roll with these young guys.
It's like, and I hate to go there, but it's like we've talked about this football season. The secondary should have been a strength. A lot of older, experienced guys not showing out, not at their potential. There's young guys that are just as athletic that should be pushing for playing time. So if is that the case? I mean, I think it is if you're not going to get the effort. If there's a lack of effort, it's one thing to lose a game, but it's another to lose a game and be embarrassed because you're not putting forth the effort. And it was disappointing and lacking.
Yeah, I'm with this too. If the younger guys give effort but make mistakes, let them learn and fly. Absolutely. If you got veterans out here lollygagging and making mistakes, get them out. Get them out. Let them hit the road. Whatever. Again, that was veteran guys out there today that were showing no effort, and that bothers me. Again, I know Chandler was frustrated, but it wasn't for lack of effort. Huntley Hatfield, he struggled today, but I mean, he reclassified. He's still supposed to be in high school technically. He'll be fine, but Barnes won't do it because he's too old school, because we saw it today when they first hit adversity. He went back to old lineups. Putting Vescovi at point was the first thing he did, thinking that was going to fix it. Maybe he's trying to just do what he can, but I don't know. I want to see how Barnes adjusts to it. I'm going to say it again. Rick Barnes needs to go look in the mirror again tonight and see where this program wants to go. You guys can disagree with me all you want to on it, but Rick Barnes has done this for years. The fact that he's been at that program, 8 years now? He's recruited these guys in, and they gave him no better effort than that today. Better figure it out, and better figure it out quick, because if you come out that effort again tomorrow, it's going to look pretty similar.
Well, and that's the thing. You come out with that effort, the days of being invited to these tournaments and these type of games, that's going to be long gone. Because who wants to come see a team get beat down by 20, unless you're the fans of the other team?
Yeah, and maybe I think we knew the changes with Kim English and Des Oliver was going to hurt, and I like the guys he replaced them with, but still, yet you're going to have an effect immediately. Those guys were good assistants; they were good recruiters. You're breaking in basically a new team. I mean, you got a handful of guys who are back this year, but other than that, there's a lot of new faces down there. So, we'll give it time on it. And I'm not happy with them today. Again, I was hoping they could beat Villanova. Obviously, Villanova's ranked 5th for a reason. They're a good team. They were favored in the game, but and you have bad days. Yeah. I had days shooting and things of that nature, but the thing we keep going back to, I just cannot handle the effort I saw today. But if I'm these guys that are Tennessee, I would be embarrassed. I would be pissed, and I'd be ready to go tomorrow. That I'm not going to repeat that. So we're going to find out a whole lot about how these guys bounce back, and it's not make or break tomorrow. If they lose tomorrow, that's fine, but I want to see a competitive game. It was never competitive today. Never competitive at all. So what I want to see tomorrow is a team that comes out, balls to the wall. Whatever. You get beat, going balls to the wall, so be it.
Leave it on the floor.
Exactly. And it's like they never even took it to the floor today.
Well, they left their shot in Knoxville. I'll tell you that. Maybe somebody can FedEx it up there or something for tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of questions after today. What we learned is that it's good we played this game today to find out where you stack up. I mean, because let's face it, you want to go as far as you can in the NCAA tournament. This is a team you're going to have to go through if you're going to make a run. UT Martin ain't telling you where you're getting to, and ETSU a couple years ago would have been a good team to play when Forbes was there. Oliver's got a job ahead of him trying to rebuild what Shea tore down last year. But, Villanova, North Carolina, or Purdue tomorrow. There's other games, Texas Tech. There's Texas. There's Memphis.
Yep.
There's Arizona. I love it. I love the schedule. And, UNC Greensboro, strong program. That's not going to be a cakewalk either. We'll see. We'll see where they go, but a good test today, which I think it's safe to say they failed it with flying colors, but it's November. It's not February. It's not March.
Yeah. Like I said, you want to be playing your best basketball the end of February, into March, and hopefully a little bit beyond. But like we saw this afternoon, there's still a lot left to work on, a lot left to be figured out for this team. Go regroup, have some dinner, maybe watch a little bit of this second game, see if you can see who you're going to play. And I think every one of these players and this coaching staff, like you said, they need to check themselves in the mirror. They need to get right and come out and play like they can, because I'll even say Vescovi, because he started off horrible, had a good second half and recovered, but all these guys, none of them played to their potential.
Let's see. Southern I actually got this hat at Boomtown in Johnson City. Got that a few years back when I was still living in Tennessee, actually. These are more Elizabethton Cyclones colors. Congrats to them for beating Greenville last night. Big upset, kind of, because Greenville thumped them earlier in the year. Cyclones going to the semifinals. Good shot to three-peat as state champions. I've got some connections to that program up there, so I'm pulling for those guys. If I'm Tennessee, I'm going to go watch North Carolina and Purdue. And I know some people, Wayne saying in the chat, he thinks Purdue's pretty good, that they'll take out North Carolina. Either way, man, if you get Purdue or North Carolina, that's a good test tomorrow. And so we'll see. But if I'm Tennessee, I go watch that game. I get showered, get some dinner, and then I'll watch the football Vols get bowl eligible tonight. And if I'm them as well, I would tune in at 6:30 for the Talkin VAWLS tailgate show. We'll be taking live call-ins tonight. We've got a streak to beat tonight, as the Vols have not won a tailgate show all year. I'm going to break my black jersey out, because every game I've had it on, they're 0 for the season. So we're going to break two things tonight. And then if somehow they lose tonight, then we know to cancel both of them. And then we'll be live post-game tonight as well. We're about the 50-minute mark. We've kind of discussed, I don't know. I don't think there's much more to discuss today on it. We've discussed it a lot, the effort, what's happened, where this team goes from here. You never want to lose. You never want to look like that, like you did today. But again, I'm excited. I am happy that they're playing tomorrow because this is a perfect game to see how this team can bounce back.
Well, yeah, that's right. You know, it's quick rebound, snap and clear. Get on to the next one. You can't sit and chew your teeth on it. You gotta turn and focus towards tomorrow. That's the name of it. I mean, be pissed off. Come out pissed off with some energy and effort. You don't have to sit and wait 3 or 4 days to play your next game. You get in that gym tomorrow and you make it better.
Couldn't say it any better myself. I agree. Get out and do it tomorrow, and you're bouncing back with a strong opponent again. Maybe you lose tomorrow. Maybe you don't. I just will see competitive. I won't see effort. I'll be surprised if they come out lethargic like they did today. But got any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
Nah, I'll just hit on, like you said, still a big day left in Tennessee sports. Possibility to get bowl eligible for a team that was picked by a lot of people to win 3 or 4 games. They're staring at the potential of doubling that. Man, pretty exciting. Pretty exciting what's going on in Knoxville all around. Like you said earlier, we had somebody in the chat mention soccer going to the Sweet 16. You got baseball finishing up fall ball, getting geared up for that. Lots of exciting stuff. So make sure you.
I noticed. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say make sure you guys like and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications so you know that every time we drop videos or go live like Boogie did last week unexpectedly before the Georgia game. So, but that's all I've got.
And I don't might as well boast a little bit about it. It'll probably go back and forth, but Talkin Vols channel passed VolQuest for total subscribers today. We are behind the Tennessee Athletics YouTube. We are the top channel on YouTube. Number 1. We're not looking back. We're only getting better. We're getting bigger. Thank you guys for it. And, if Boogie's still listening, thanks to Boogie. This ain't possible without him. He puts in the work. He lets us kind of take the reins on basketball here. We'll all probably chip in with baseball. That was a big booster for us last year as well. But thanks for tuning in, guys. We're at 53 minutes. We'll wrap it up. We'll be back again tomorrow. From what we gathered, the game tomorrow is at 3:30. May start around 4 because I think the championship of this little tournament's at 1. But then we'll be live again post-game, hopefully a little more positive than today. 6:30 tonight, we'll be live for the tailgate show, and then post-game tonight we'll be live as well. So it's a long day talking balls. Pretty awesome, pretty cool opportunity. Hopefully we'll be much happier tonight. But he's Dauber. I'm the Indy Kid. This is the Talkin Vols Network. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll see you again. We'll see you again here in a couple hours. So take care. Enjoy your next couple hours. And go Vols.